Hello, it's Sundred Style. I'm back on my second Satisfactory save file. I'm on the path to beating the game again, saving the day, making all the puppies and kittens happy again. So this is my main factory that I have lovingly called Concretia. Of note, I started in the northern, like, Rocky Mountain area, like, the cliff face with, like, the 3 pure iron nodes. And I just knew right out the gates I wanted to build like a giant multi-level like concrete platform factory that just kind of like scaled off the cliffs. And yeah, no, I just kind of went wild with the foundations. I'm really thrilled with how the bottom of the area, like not even the machines, just the foundations of this place, like just it's giving the oldest house vibes, if you will. Um, But yeah, no, this is the second save file. Really thrilled. So actually, before I started this save file, I was doing a co-op save file with my friends Kazoo, Dark, and Doug. And Kazoo threw the space elevator down here when we were building up on the cliffs. And I just really like the idea of like the space elevator, which is like, you know, normally it towers over you, but it's also, at least when you're up here, it's also still below you, so it just gives it like a little extra scale somehow when it's like, oh damn, it's both above and below me. That thing is big. Meanwhile, if it's just above you, it's like actually kind of taking away from the scale. So yeah, no, I carried Kazoo's idea forward into my save file, so thank you for that, Kazoo. On the subject of giving credit where credit is due, while I am thrilled with, you know, all the foundations that kind of like just branch everywhere, uh, just making this place extremely solid. You might have noticed some of the spires that just kind of go up and like 45-degree angle. Oh yeah, like off in the distance over there, and even further over there. We'll go over there eventually. Shout out to my friend Pat for suggesting that, because I was lamenting like, oh, you know, when you do a manifold, you know, just rows and rows of constructors and smelters and like straight lines, just flat surfaces, you know, it kind of starts to bore me after a while. It almost looks like a computer chipboard, and it looks, you know, it's cool in its own right, but it also gets kind of boring after you've seen it for like how many times over, because again, like my first save file, like I didn't tap every resource on the map, but like I built more or less all over the map, and you can only make so many manifolds. And that kind of brings us to this creation. Just sometimes you just want to feel something. Like sometimes you don't want the plain, easy, and simple solution. Sometimes you just actively want to make it hard for yourself, so then you do something like this. I figured, you know, it's all limestone and concrete, so, you know, there's no real legitimate fear of, like, mixing up materials amidst each other, so it's fine if it's loosey-goosey. But, yeah, no, that's, you know, the backbone of Concretia, that and the one manifold over there with all the concrete. Other things to note with this save file that's worth talking about. Oh, so of note, actually, this save file, oh, I can't interact with the outlet. I need to find a power tower. Of note, this save file, you might notice the nuclear reactors up on that mountain. They're not on yet. I was working towards, you might notice my note on the right, it's time to get nuclear, your grid can't live like this. I have been actually running off of mostly just coal and geothermal. I think it's like split pretty evenly, half and half. Actually, speaking of the coal, there is basically all of my coal generators right here, just for starters. Before it was only, I think when I first started out, the MK1 miner, it was only just this first row before this pillar. And then I got the MK2 eventually, and I just kind of added on to it. And then MK3, you know, it just kind of goes sicko crazy mode, and yeah, you just you can churn out a lot more coal out of it. So I was just more inclined to do that than work with oil. I have very minimal fuel oil generators because I am not a fan of the oil phase. The oil-based products, it kind of bores me how like with the refineries, they're just such tall structures, and that by itself is fine. It's just that they often work with pipes, and pipes don't really work well with verticality because, you know, sloshing and just liquids and gravity, just it's all such a headache to deal with. So I just hate oil-based products and I hate dealing with fuel. The only fuel generating power I have is like, I think literally just to deal with the byproducts of like making excess rubber and plastic. Ooh, it's getting real dark, dang. Oh, this is cool, kinda. Like everything's fog. I've never seen the map like this before. I'm really excited for 1.2 to roll around and, you know, we get all the more extreme weather effects. Really excited to see how this factory looks. It's probably going to fry my computer because it's already kind of struggling. Yeah, no, this power grid, I don't know if I actually interacted with the power pole just yet. But yeah, no. For the most part, it was running off of 11k megawatts. I actually got to phase 5 running at 11k megawatts. And it's only recently that I got it to hovering around 13 to 15. 13, I think, like, I did make some supplemental fuel generators to, like, boost it. And then eventually, like, literally just 5 minutes ago, I threw down the alien power augmenter. Like, I redirected some summer sloops into this because my batteries were not looking good. They're sitting at, like, 35%. They were sitting at 20 before. I did not want to have a meltdown. I did not want to have a blackout, so yeah, I pulled out some of those sloops, and now we're just coasting as those ballistic warp drives eventually finish the end goal. But even after I save the game, after I save the day, beat the game, I'm probably gonna go after the golden nut, try to optimize the ballistic warp drives a little bit more. I'm really thrilled with this save file. I like how everything at least with this spawn location, if you have all of the hard drive alternate recipes, well, not all of the hard drive recipes unlocked, but if you have all of the quartz and silica related ones, it turns out you don't really have to move that far. Like, I've explored relatively very little of the map, actually. Like, if you look at the full map, I've only scratched the surface, but I've been able to, like, pump out just a lot of stuff in this like small area. Like I only have the 3 main bases, just this Concretia, which is everything you see before you. And then if we head further east, oh, well, there's also the oil fields up north, but again, I don't think they look that fantastic. It's just rows and rows of refineries. We're gonna skimp over that. But yeah, over towards the quartz, what I call quartz Cretia, is basically all of the like mid to like late game products minus aluminum. Cause like over here we got, because you can make so much out of silica and quartz, you can make chipboards, you can make computers, circuit boards, high-speed connectors, radio control units. Yeah, this is using crystal oscillators, and you can use silica to make the crystal oscillators, I believe. What recipe am I using for the crystal oscillators? Yeah, no, you're using quartz, and then the AI limiters. And then also the Caterium's, like, very close by, too, so, like, I don't know, this second base, like, it just kind of took on a life of its own. This, like, originally was just an outpost for making quartz and silica. I didn't think it was going to turn into its own whole thing. Like, here's the turbo motors. Yeah, just there's some iron nodes nearby too, so like you can kind of supplement what other odd products it wants. The aluminum casings, I think I'm literally just like conveyor belting from the aluminum factory over to here, because like it's literally just due south from here, so it's like, okay, I don't really need a train for that, which is kind of alien to me because I remember like aluminum always feeling so far away when you start out in the grassy fields. I think these are rows and rows just making circuit boards out of silica. Yep, a lot of circuit boards going into a lot of high-speed connectors and computers. Yep. Big fan of this factory, and again, big fan of all the just columns and spires just going 45 degrees. I just think it's neat. I think it's satisfactory. I suppose we can also try to head towards the aluminum side of the factory. There is truthfully not as much going on there. Well, actually no, that's a lie. It is quite busy. I would like to catch the train there, but I don't think that's in our cards. So we'll just zip line over. I think we might pass, yeah, this is just like the iron node that supplements the quartz factory with its odds and ends. I think it's just making stators, rotors, and motors? I don't know why I kept saying them weird, but... Oh, is this a dead end? Maybe if I, Yeah, but this is the train line that leads from quartz... No, not from quartz, from concretia to alumcretia, as I call it. Big fan of... I guess the spires for the train platform. It looks really cool when you're on the train riding out from aluminum to concretia. Not as impressive, in my opinion, going from concretia to aluminum. But maybe if we're lucky, we can catch the train as we make our way, kind of zigzagging our way over there. An aurora borealis at this time of day? Localized entirely on this planet? So yeah, no, here's the first aluminum setup. A little note to myself that I've fully squeezed it not to mess with this anymore, because sometimes I just leave work unfinished. Yeah, I feel like the craziest thing of note with the aluminum factory is just the miles and miles of belts connecting it from like one side of the aluminum factory to the other. Because, you know, a lot of aluminum, to make the aluminum plates, you need the copper plates. And the copper's all the way, the closest copper node's like due south. And I didn't feel like importing the copper all the way from Concretia, so I was just like, let's just drag it over here. And so yeah, this is just like where most of the aluminum's actually made. Incidentally, also I think like the fused modulars and like cooling systems, I could probably scale these up. I definitely need to scale up the fused modulars. But that's a project for later. But yeah, no, just a lot of belts just kind of spiraling all over the place. It's yeah, no, something about it from like over here, just seeing this string of like lights just dotting across the forest. It's kind of cool. Like, it's not even like as impressive as like the structures of the spires. It's just like, damn, there's a lot of them, huh? But yeah, no, let's see if we can catch this train. I hope it's coming. Yeah, it's not here yet. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of like just the train going underneath all these spires. If it doesn't come, that's fine. We can still kind of ride this conveyor belt. Oh, of note, there is like the supplementary fuel generators down there. And then I have some packaged fuel that I'm just kind of using for a couple drones. I've not done rocket fuel yet. I know I should. I know it's efficient. I'm just kind of bored. Another thing about oil-based products that I don't like, even though rocket fuel is a gas, and that allows you to sidestep the verticality issue with a lot of pipes, it's so efficient. You get tired of making like 30, 40, 50 fuel generators at a time, you know? And you just get sick of them after a while. But yeah, no. But yeah, no, big fan of just seeing these columns fly by as you just sit down for the ride. Oh, there's the Caterium factory that we didn't quite go to just yet. I mean, it's literally just Caterium and just that's where I really kind of went wild with like the spires over there, just as like a attempted brutalist study. Of note, as I was making this factory, would you be shocked to learn that I watched several videos and essays on, what constitutes as brutalism? And, it's surprisingly nuanced and varied. It's a worldwide phenomenon that just kind of took over after like World War II because people didn't really have building supplies besides lots of concrete. And that when all you have to work with is concrete, that's all it's what you're primarily going to use. Shocker. And so just the whole world just kind of got inventive with like how to use it, like how much, well, they used it primarily, but like what forms could it take, and like, oh, this material is really sturdy, what kind of like weird shapes can we make out of it? It just kind of fell out of fashion for anyone who's not as familiar with brutalism. It fell out of fashion because it's a little bit harder to maintain compared to other materials, like replacing concrete, not the easiest feat in the world. Also, it started losing favor, I believe, like it lost a lot of favor just leading up to the 90s. The 90s, I remember, was starting to like crack down a little bit on like environmental regulations. Thankfully, like we lowered a lot of greenhouse gases and stuff like that. Like that were ruining the ozone from like cars. And as it turns out, concrete just makes so much CO2, like you wouldn't believe, like the process of just making it, like it's so dense that if you were to smash a brick of concrete, that would just release like tons and tons of CO2 into the air, like more, almost like several cars running for a whole day, from what I understand. So yeah, concrete just kind of became material that more of a different era when it was all we had, and we didn't quite realize like, oh, it's hard to upkeep, and also it's really bad for the environment. So, alas, brutalism, a way of the past, but still very visually striking, and I love to see it, at least in visual spaces. I'm very thrilled to have started playing Motor Slice, that came out recently. That game just features brutalist megastructures. I love how the creator references something called Beton Tech, because originally the person who made brutalist architecture coined the term béton brut, which just is French for raw concrete. So, just, hey, watching those videos kind of fun little, let me pick up on something fun. But yeah, no, I suppose that's all there is to show with Concretia. Just, oh, of note, actually, with the space elevator, I just wanted to highlight, when it comes to making the space elevator parts, because they only really go into other space elevator parts, I don't suggest making a whole production line for them, except for the ballistic warp drives, just because, like, those make the most tickets when you want to sync them, and after you beat the game, maybe you're chasing after the golden nut. So everything that leads up to the ballistic warp drives do keep, but everything else I think should be temporary. In the time it takes for you to scale and fully, like, make as many ballistic warp drives as possible, that endeavor will cause you to, like, tap most of the world's SAM nodes, and that's a huge endeavor in itself. In my first save file, I think I just barely scratched the surface of almost achieving that, but then it just kind of fell by the wayside, and because I was losing frames, because the game was just getting too massive. So I decided I'd start fresh, be slightly more organized, but sometimes the clown house, it just comes out of me. I can't help myself. Sometimes I gotta do the loop-de-loops and the twirls, But yeah, no, with the production lines, just sometimes all you need is just throwing a crate in front of the assembler, and then the assembler just bangs out what you need. And then you're done. You never have to worry about it again. But yeah, no. So again, this save file took about roughly 130 hours. You should not compare your save file to me. Again, this is my second save file. My first was probably also considerably faster than most others' playtimes. But I just suggest, like, for anyone who's burned out and, like, you're really struggling with, like, phase 3 or 4, just stop overthinking things. Like, just a jank machine that works on and off, like, half the time. Like, as long as it's on, it's eventually gonna get you there, And, it doesn't matter if it's efficient, it just needs to be on and going, and that'll eventually get you to the finish line. Fix-It doesn't ask... I know they ask for efficiency, but they're ultimately asking for the job to get done, and if you get overwhelmed, then job's never gonna get done, so, just cut yourself some slack. Slack off, take a break, go to the bathroom, take a... sit in the toilet for like 20 minutes. What's Fix-It gonna do? Nothing. But strange note to end the video on, I suppose, but show yourself some grace. Just don't stress. The job will get done eventually. You just have to keep going. Just throw one machine down and one machine down, and it's fine if they don't work. If you throw enough machines down, eventually you get to the finish line. But yeah. Peace out.